Example number 2 in this lesson. Example number 2. It says find the exact value. Find the exact value. The expression 2 tan 15 over 1 minus tan square 15. This is the formula. This one is the formula for tan double of angle. Tan double of angle. So this is tan 2 times 15. It means tan 30, and tan 30 equals 1 over root 3 or root 3 over 3. This is the example number 2. On your own, find the exact value. Find the exact value of cosine square 15. Cosine square 15 minus sine square 15. This is the first one. The second one, 2 sine 45 cosine 45. Okay, this is enough. Then I'm gonna go directly to explaining why can we have more than one formula for double of angle for cosine. Cosine 2a. I said cosine 2a equals cosine square a minus sine square a. Cosine square a minus sine square a. If you can remember, I said cosine square a plus sine square a equals 1. So now, if I want to get cosine square a, so we can say it's 1 minus sine square a, or sine square a, it's 1 minus cosine square a. Cosine square a is 1 minus sine square a, and sine square a 1 minus cosine square a. So let's replace cosine square here on this formula with 1 minus sine square. Let's replace this one. So cosine 2a equals cosine square. I'm gonna write it 1 minus sine square. 1 minus sine square a, then again minus sine square a. So it's 1 minus sine square minus 2 sine square a, and this is the second formula for cosine 2a. So cosine 2a equals cosine square a minus sine square a, and also can be written 1 minus cosine square a. What if we start from this formula, from cosine 2a equal cosine square a minus sine square a. Now let's replace sine square a with 1 minus cosine square a. So we're gonna get here cosine square a the same, minus sine square 1 minus cosine square a. And then 1 here, negative, it means negative 1. Negative 1. Or just to change the sign inside, this one will be negative and this one will be positive. So it's a cosine square a minus 1. Minus 1 times 1 is minus 1. Minus 1 times minus cosine square plus cosine square a. Cosine square plus cosine square, it becomes 2 cosine square a minus 1, and this is cosine 2a. Now we can say that we have 3 formulas for cosine 2a. 3 formulas. Cosine 2a equals cosine square minus sine square. Cosine 2a 1 minus 2 sine square. Cosine 2a 2 cosine square a minus 1. If I want to verify any trigonometric identity based on our lesson today. It says here, verify. This is example number 3. Example number 3. It says here, verify cosine 3a equals 4 cosine power 3a minus 3 cosine a. Verify cosine 3a equals 4 cosine power 3a minus 3 cosine a. What's 3a? What is 3a? 3a can be written as 2a plus a. So we can write here cosine 2a plus a. Cosine 2a plus a. Then, what's cosine 2a plus a based on the sum formula? Sum formula equals cosine 2a times cosine a minus sine 2a times sine a. Cosine 2a times cosine a minus sine 2a times sine a. Cosine 2a, we can write it using this formula. Cosine 2a, it's 2 cosine square. It's 2 cosine square minus 1. So cosine 2a, we can replace it 2 cosine square a minus 1. Multiply by cosine a, then minus. Sine 2a is 2 sine a cosine a. It's 2 sine a times cosine a. Then times sine a again, times sine a. Sine a times sine a, sine square a. So we have here 2 sine square a times cosine a. And we have here 2 cosine square a minus 1 times cosine a. We can replace sine square to be 1 minus cosine square a, then times here cosine a. We can expand here 2 cosine square a times cosine a, 2 cosine cube a minus 1 times cosine a minus cosine a. Then here also we can expand negative 2 times 1 or times 1 cosine a. We can put cosine a here, so we can write this one negative 2 cosine a 1 minus cosine square a. This expression stayed the same, 2 cosine cube a minus cosine a. And here expand negative 2 cosine a for this expression. Negative 2 cosine a times 1, negative 2 cosine a. Negative times negative positive, 2 cosine a times cosine square a, cosine cube a. So 2 multiplied by 2. 2 cosine cube a minus cosine a minus 2 cosine a plus 2 cosine cube a, just by adding like algebraic terms. 2 plus 2, 4 cosine cube a minus 1 minus 2 minus 3 cosine a, and this is the right side. This is the left side equals now the right side. Now on your own, verify the identity. Verify sine 3a equals 3 sine A minus 4 sine cube A. 3 sine A minus 4 sine cube A. Verify the identity. This is sine 3A. Sine 3A equal 3 sine A minus 4 sine cube A on the WhatsApp group.